Let me ask you something, and really think about it for a second. At 70 years old, do you ever find yourself lying in bed, just staring at the ceiling, wondering, am I really doing okay for my age? Maybe you've caught yourself comparing, seeing someone in your age group still jogging, still dancing, still smiling with that light in their eyes, and thinking, what's their secret? Did I miss something along the way? Or maybe, quietly, you've asked yourself, am I still winning at life? Or am I just getting by? Now, I want you to pause and breathe. Because the answer might surprise you. You see, aging isn't just about numbers on a calendar or wrinkles in a mirror. It's about what you still can do. And too often, we get caught up in what's slipping away, the energy, the memory lapses, the slower mornings. We grieve what we've lost, without realizing how much strength still lives inside us. But here's the truth, you might be doing better than you think. In fact, if you can still do just 5 simple things, and I mean really do them, without pretense, you're not just aging, you're thriving. And today, I want to walk you through those 5 powerful signs. 5 things that don't need a gym membership, or a perfect medical report. 5 things that show you still have fire in your soul, resilience in your bones, and joy in your spirit. Because if you can still do these, even in small ways, you're winning at life. So, stay with me. And hey, if you're proud of how far you've come, or you're holding out hope for brighter years ahead, type it in the comments right now, still standing strong. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide, because aging isn't the end of your story. It's the chapter where all the wisdom, grace, and quiet victories finally take center stage. Let's begin. Now let's talk about the first sign that you're truly winning at life at 70. You can get out of bed, without help. Now that might sound simple. Maybe even ordinary. But don't overlook it. Think of Mr. Henry. He's 72, retired, a widower for the last 5 years. Every morning, the same ritual. He opens his eyes before the sun's fully up, sits up without groaning, plants his feet on the floor, stands tall, makes his bed, and slowly walks to the kitchen for his morning tea. No nurse. No cane. No struggle. Now to the outside world, that may seem like nothing special. But to Mr. Henry? That quiet moment, that short walk from the bed to the kitchen? That's freedom. That's independence. That's dignity. And it's not just about pride, it's about health. You see, when you're able to get up and start your day without needing someone to lift you or balance you, that tells us something very powerful. It means your muscles are still firing properly. Your joints, though maybe a bit stiff, still carry your weight. Your nervous system is communicating well with your body. And your brain is giving instructions your body can still follow. In short, you're still in control. Now here's the thing. Most people assume that needing a little help getting up is just part of growing older. Oh, it's just normal, they say. But that's not entirely true. Yes, some slowing down is expected. But if one day you're fine and the next you suddenly can't stand without support, that could be a warning sign. It might be nerve damage. Or arthritis setting in more rapidly than it should. Or even an issue with your heart or blood pressure. It's your body's way of whispering, pay attention to me. So don't brush it off. And if you can still stand up on your own, celebrate it. That means your system is still working together in beautiful harmony, even if it takes a little longer than it used to. Now, let me give you something you can do to keep that going. Try incorporating gentle stretches in the morning. Even just 5 minutes. While you're still in bed or sitting on the edge, move your ankles in circles, stretch your arms overhead, twist your torso gently. Or better yet, give chair yoga a shot. No mat required. No getting down on the floor. Just movements that honor where you are right now. These small daily efforts can help you stay upright, strong, and confident. Because mobility? That's not just physical, it's emotional too. It's knowing that you still move through life on your terms. But as important as the body is, your mind plays just as big a role. Because winning at life isn't just about moving freely, it's about thinking freely. Let's move to the second sign that you're not just surviving, but thriving. At 70 and beyond, you still enjoy learning new things. Now, I want you to meet Gloria. She's 74, and not exactly what you'd call tech-savvy. She still taps every button twice just to make sure it's working. But a few weeks ago, Gloria signed up for an online painting class. Yeah, online. The first time she tried logging in, she accidentally turned on her camera and ended up watching herself for 5 minutes, wondering where the teacher was. But she laughed. She kept going. And now? She's got a little easel by the window and a collection of watercolor flowers growing faster than her garden. That curiosity, that willingness to try, is no small thing. Because here's what a lot of people don't realize. Your brain doesn't stop growing when you retire. Thanks to something called neuroplasticity, your brain still has the power to form new connections, new pathways, and new habits, even in your 70s, 80s, or 90s. In fact, the more you use your brain in new ways, the younger it stays. Studies show that older adults who keep learning have lower risks of cognitive decline, depression, and even chronic illness. Why? Because mental stimulation keeps the brain engaged, hopeful, and adaptive. But here's the kicker, a lot of people assume older folks just can't learn anymore. They're too set in their ways. They're too slow to catch up. That's nonsense. Learning was never about speed. It's about curiosity. It's about interest. It's about keeping those mental wheels turning, even if they squeak a little now and then. And look, it doesn't have to be a college course or learning a new language, unless you want it to be. Trying a new recipe. Reading about something you've always wondered about, learning how to use voice-to-text on your phone, watching a documentary, even asking your grandchild how that new gadget works, all of it counts. So, here's my gentle challenge for you, try just one new thing this week. It could be anything. Read about a place you've never been. Learn a dance move from a YouTube video. Write a short story. Download an app you've been avoiding. Even just changing your walking route. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you're still reaching, still growing. Because the minute we stop learning is the minute we start shrinking. And you, my friend, are still expanding. But of course, what's learning, if you don't get to share it? That brings us to another beautiful, and often overlooked, sign of vitality, the joy of connection. Here's the third sign you're still winning at life at 70, you still laugh, and socialize. Let's talk about Raymond. He's 76, retired for almost a decade, and every Thursday at 10 a.m. sharp, he meets his old buddies at the same diner on Main Street. No fancy plans, no big events. Just a cup of coffee, some toast, and enough corny jokes to make your eyes roll. They talk about everything, old cars, aching knees, who forgot their hearing aids, and of course, whose grandkids are the cutest. And for Raymond? That hour each week isn't just a routine, it's a lifeline. It's a rhythm that keeps his heart light, his spirit lifted, and his sense of belonging intact. You see, when you're still making time to connect, whether it's over coffee, on the phone, or during a walk in the park, you're doing more than passing time. You're keeping your emotional and mental engines running strong. Because science is very clear on this, loneliness doesn't just feel bad, it is bad. Social isolation, especially in older adults, has been linked to higher risks of heart disease, dementia, anxiety, and even early death. In fact, one study found that chronic loneliness can be just as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Think about that. 15 cigarettes. But the good news? The antidote isn't expensive. It's not found in a pill bottle. It's found in conversation, in laughter, in community. Now, I get it. Some people say, I'm too old for socializing. Or, everyone I knew is gone. Or, nobody really understands me anymore. And yes, it can be hard. Life changes. Friends move. Some pass on. Family gets busy. The world feels a little faster, a little louder. But connection doesn't have to be grand or perfect. It just has to be real. Call someone. Even if it's been a while. Write a letter to an old friend. Join a local group or church meeting. Say hello to the neighbor you see every morning. Video call your grandchildren. Even if you accidentally press the wrong button the first few times. Because when you laugh, when you share a memory, when you simply sit in the presence of another soul, you remind your body and your brain that you are not alone. And that's medicine no prescription can replace. So, if you still laugh, even if it's just once a day. If you still feel joy in hearing someone else's voice. If you still reach out, even clumsily, you are thriving. Now, speaking of healing. There's a different kind of strength that doesn't always get the credit it deserves. It's what your body tells us after it's been challenged. It's your ability to recover, to bounce back, to heal. Here's the fourth powerful sign that you're truly winning at life at 70, you can recover from a cold, without complications. Now, I want to tell you about Sandra. She's 73. Last winter, she came down with a bad case of the flu. The kind that knocks you off your feet. Fever, chills, sore throat, the works. Her daughter rushed over, worried sick. The grandkids were told to stay away, just in case. Everyone braced for the worst. But Sandra? She rested. She drank her warm teas. She followed her doctor's instructions. She got her sleep. And within a week, she was back on her feet. Not sprinting, not pushing herself, but healing. Like she always did. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so she recovered. What's the big deal? Well, here's why that matters. The ability to bounce back from illness, especially something as common as a cold or flu, is one of the clearest indicators of overall health as we age. You see, your immune system naturally weakens over time. That's just part of the process. Your white blood cells respond slower. Your body takes longer to repair tissue. Infections that would have lasted 2 days in your 30s might take a week or two now. But here's the key, if you do recover, without complications, without hospital stays, without it spiraling into something worse, that means your body's still got fight in it. It means your immune response is still strong, your organs are still working in sync, and your body has the resilience it needs to protect you. Now let's clear something up, because this is where many people get it wrong. A lot of folks think that any illness after 70 is automatically dangerous. That every cough, every fever, every ache is the beginning of the end. And that kind of fear? It can do more damage than the cold itself. Because when we fear the body, we stop trusting it. And when we stop trusting it, we stop listening to it. We stop taking care of it the way we should. Yes, caution is important. Yes, we should take colds seriously. But danger doesn't come from the presence of illness alone, it comes from how our body responds. If you're still bouncing back from seasonal bugs. If you catch a cold, rest, and get better without it turning into pneumonia or a hospital visit. That means your system is still defending you. And that is a big deal. Now, if you want to keep that recovery strength alive and well, here are 3 simple things you can do. 1. Hydrate. Drink water like your life depends on it, because it kind of does. 2. Prioritize sleep. A rested body is a healing body. 3. Eat the rainbow. Foods rich in color, like berries, spinach, carrots, and citrus, are packed with antioxidants that boost your immune defense. Simple, right? No magic potions. Just daily habits that tell your body, I'm still on your team. And if your body is still showing up for you, you're doing something right. Now, we've talked about physical strength, mental growth, laughter, and resilience. But there's one more sign. And it might be the most powerful of them all. Because it doesn't come from the muscles or the mind, it comes from the heart. And now, the fifth and final sign that you're not just aging, you're flourishing. You're still in the game, and more alive than many half your age. You still find joy in the small things. Let me tell you about Eleanor. She's 78. Lives alone now since her husband passed 6 years ago. Her home is quiet, peaceful, but quiet. And every single morning, before breakfast, before the day really begins, she pours herself a cup of tea and sits by the window with her blanket wrapped around her legs. Out in her little backyard, there's a bird feeder hanging from the old oak tree. And without fail, those tiny birds, robins, finches, even the occasional blue jay, show up like clockwork. She watches them dance around, chirping and fluttering. And every so often, she smiles, sometimes with tears in her eyes. That small ritual? That moment of joy? It's everything. Because when you're 70 or older, life slows down. The world may move faster, but your pace becomes gentler, more deliberate. And in that stillness, you begin to notice things others miss. The warmth of the sun on your skin. The way your favorite song still stirs something in your chest. The smell of fresh bread, the laughter of your grandchild, the crisp air after rain. And the ability to still feel joy in those things, to see them and let them touch you, that's not just emotional health. That's deep, powerful resilience. You see, from a biological standpoint, joy does something incredible. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for rest, calm, and healing. Joy slows your heartbeat, lowers your blood pressure, reduces stress hormones like cortisol, and over time, even extends your life. Not just your years, but the quality of those years. But let's be honest, there's a belief out there that as we age, joy fades. That we become bitter, apathetic, disconnected. But that's a lie. Joy doesn't disappear, it just becomes quieter. And if you're still noticing beauty in the small things, you're more alive than many people ever realize. So how do you hold on to that joy? Try this, keep a joy journal. Each evening, before bed, write down one thing, just one, that made you smile that day. Maybe it was a bird at your feeder, a warm bath, a memory that showed up out of nowhere and made you laugh. It rewires your brain. It trains your focus to shift away from what's missing, and back to what's still here. And you might be amazed at just how much is still here. Joy, my friend, is not childish. It is strength. And if you can still feel it, even through loss, through pain, through change, then you are not just surviving old age. You are living it, fully. And that brings us to something even deeper. Let's take a moment now, not just to list what we've covered, but to reflect on what it all really means. For you. For your journey. And for the ones you love. Aging can be confusing. It can hurt in invisible ways. You wake up and someone's missing from the table. The world changes faster than your hands can keep up. Your body begins to whisper limitations where it once shouted freedom. And some mornings, the reflection in the mirror feels unfamiliar. But pause. Because these 5 signs we've talked about, they're not just health tips. They're beacons of truth. They remind us, you're not defined by your diagnosis. You're not measured by the speed of your steps. You're not fading into invisibility. No, you're defined by what still lives within you. The quiet strength. The willingness to rise. The courage to feel, even when things are hard. Because if you can still move with your own strength, if your mind still lights up with curiosity, if your heart still laughs in the presence of others, if your body still heals itself when you're down, and if joy, simple, humble joy, still reaches you, then you're not declining. You're not deteriorating. You're not slipping away. You're mastering the art of living. We've been taught to fear aging. But what if we didn't? What if we saw it, not as an ending, but as a deeper chapter? A quieter, more sacred wisdom that only a few get to carry? Because aging isn't the opposite of living. It is living. So tonight, before you close your eyes, check in with yourself. Ask gently, which of these 5 signs do I still hold close? And if one seems to be slipping, don't panic. Don't retreat. Start small. Stretch your arms in the morning sunlight. Call a loved one. Look out your window and notice something beautiful. Smile, just to remind your face that you still can. Because you can. And you matter. And nothing, not age, not loss, not time, can take away your power to begin again. And if you're watching this and thinking, but I've lost some of those signs, then hear this, it's never too late. Healing happens in layers. Vitality returns in moments. And even if joy feels distant today, every small step back toward laughter, movement, learning, or love, counts. And you are still worthy of those steps. Every single one of them. So, let's revisit what we've uncovered today. 5 beautiful signs that you are thriving at 70 and beyond. 1. Independent movement, the strength to rise on your own. 2. Curiosity to learn, the joy of discovering something new. 3. Social engagement, the laughter shared with others. 4. Physical resilience, the ability to recover and heal. 5. Joy in life's little things, the quiet smile, the peaceful moment. Each one is a quiet celebration of the life still pulsing within you. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these signs do you see most in yourself? Or which one are you currently working on? Share your story in the comments. Your words might comfort someone else who needs to hear that they're not alone. We are all on this journey, together. And if this video spoke to you, if it reminded you of your own strength, or someone you deeply care about, then subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. We're here for you with thoughtful reflections, uplifting stories, and practical health tips, all crafted with the aging soul in mind. Thank you, truly, for spending these few minutes with me. And remember, every morning you wake up with breath in your lungs, with thoughts to think, hands to move, and a heart that can still feel. That is not just another day. That is a win. That is proof that you're still in the fight. Still learning, loving, and living. So, stay wise. Stay curious. Stay connected. And above all, stay well. I'll see you in the next video.